You can either have legitimate businesses and tax revenue, or you can create more criminals and have a black market of which you get zero tax dollars from.
It's gonna cripple an entire industry in one fell swoop if they don't change the predicate date, if they don't rethink their approach to a product that, by their own admission, may not be harmful at all. I remember thinking that, oh, the government's gonna love this. They're gonna embrace this because look how many lives will be saved. If you're talking about regulations that are proposed that have no foundation in common sense, I mean, there has to be a good reason behind it. It has to be affordable. It has to be achievable to adhere to these regulations. Otherwise, the FDA should just be honest and admit that all they're actually doing is trying to squash the industry under the guise of regulations. There's something incredibly disingenuous about how the FDA is going about this.
In the early 1900s, when efforts to make alcohol and liquor illegal took place, those who pushed for it were far more clear about their intentions. I mean, they explained publicly, privately, and lobbied Congress in their effort to demonstrate that alcohol was having a deteriorating effect on the fabric of society and on families. What we have is a march towards prohibition that has been disguised as regulation, but will have the exact same impact as the original prohibition movement in the early 1900s, whereas we're going to have a huge black market. I mean, the millions of consumers that currently use these products aren't simply going to say, when their local vape shop doesn't offer the products they used to enjoy, they're not simply going to say, well, that's it. I guess I'll be done with the whole e-cigarette thing. What they'll likely say is one of two things. They'll seek out alternatives, they'll go back to smoking, or they'll seek out the black market.
Liberty is like water. It finds a way. It finds a weakness. And if it takes buying 2 years worth of supplies until they figure out legal problems, if it takes contacting people out of state and having them purchase something for me, and then I go have to pick it up in North Carolina or Georgia, I'll do that. I will have this because I won't go back to tobacco.
This isn't about protecting children. This isn't about making sure that some industry that's out of control has a check on it. It's about doing exactly what we did to alcohol in the early 1900s to a new industry and a new group of consumers in a way in which, unlike that movement, actually will have negative health impact.
I smoked for 45 years. 2 years ago, as of today, I started vaping and never took another puff or bought another cigarette. And I feel a lot better. I lost a lot of family members through lung cancer directly related to smoking. I even watched my dad die of lung cancer from smoking, and that didn't make me quit. You know, it's just, I am just amazed that I didn't smoke a cigarette after I vaped after 45 years.
What are you going to do if August 2018 comes and you can't come to Division Vapor anymore, or your local vape shop? What are you going to do?
I already have acquired quite a few mods. I've already acquired stuff to start DIYing my own e-juice. Yeah, I'm gonna end up being the black market granny.
We will have a very significant black market. But unlike the prohibition movement, where people sought out speakeasies because they really just wanted a drink, there wasn't a real need for it from the public health perspective, there's a need for these products, not only for current consumers, but for the millions, the tens of millions of other consumers in the United States who have not yet found these products or not yet found a product that they enjoy using as a far less hazardous alternative to cigarettes and smoking in the United States.
The American dream? Let me tell you something. To create responsibly products, to craft them, and to see how people enjoy them, and to make a living at that, that's the American dream. And I thought at one time, naively, that one of the roles of the federal government was to foster that dream, to see something like that and help cultivate it, help grow that American dream. And unfortunately, the federal government is not the least bit interested in that. So what we have to realize is that's okay. We're going to take what's due us. We're going to take what we have a right to. We're not going to accept regulations that squash that American dream for no reason whatsoever. And it's time we kind of embarked on the next phase of the vaping movement and stop assuming and hoping that things will be handed to us or that the government will play nice and be reasonable. They won't, and it's not going to happen. So let's stand up and unite and require it of the government. This is an industry made up by people who care passionately about not just their right to vape, but about vaping itself. So the day has come when we have to acknowledge that they're not going to play nice, they're not going to be reasonable, and if we want to change things, if we want to preserve something that we have the right to, such as vaping, we're going to have to unite, we're going to have to get on the same page together, and we're going to have to actually kind of channel that enthusiasm that we all feel for vaping, and do something. And I think that is happening now, but I think it has to happen on a much bigger level. If we do that, we're going to get past this. I really believe that we can change not just these deeming regulations that the FDA has come out with, but we can change the entire landscape with regard to how Washington sees vaping, not just as some offshoot of smoking, but as something that actually has the potential to save so